This video is covering steps 25 through 28. What we're going to be doing is adding a drop shadow to the text in the title. And you can see an example of what we're going to be doing here. This is before and this is after. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do in step 25 is highlight the text for the title. And the way you do that is you come over and you click to the left of the first word, which happens to be click. Left click and hold. Drag your mouse across the entire title and release. And now that is selected. And the first thing we're going to do is come over here on the drawing panel of the ribbon, and where it says shape effects, we're going to click on that arrow. Come down to shadow. I'm just hovering. I haven't clicked on anything after clicking on shape effects. And now I can come over and hover. And this is the offset bottom I'm going to use. Well, actually, let me see. I think I'll use this one. I like the angle of this one where there's a little bit more of a shadow on the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Alright, and if you aren't sure if you can see it as well as you'd like to, what you can do is come over back to shape effects. And this is now step 27. We just did step 26. And you come over and you click on this again. Come down, hover over shadow. Instead of just selecting one of these presets, this time you're going to come all the way down to shadow options and click on that. And it automatically puts you in the right place in order to play with these shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knock this transparency down to 30%. And I like that angle, and the distance I think is fine. But let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and see what that looks like. I'm going to click outside. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. If you want to get a better idea of what it really looks like, we're going to go ahead and just quickly highlight the whole thing. You do at this point have to come back to the effects because it came off of it. And let's just temporarily change this color to something that really stands out, the yellow. Scroll back over, click away, and you can really see what that shadow is doing. It's not as obvious when it's black, but when it's a very contrasting color like yellow or something, it really shows up more. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and reselect this, turn it back to black, or I could just have hit the undo button since the last thing was the black. And that looks pretty good, so I like that. Alright, the last step is giving you the option of doing it on the rectangle. So what you do here is you click on the rectangle, and it's important that you don't try and click on the rectangle by coming inside here because the text box is on top of the rectangle. If you try and click anywhere inside this dotted box, you're going to wind up selecting the text instead of the rectangle. So you have to come outside the text and click on a part of the rectangle that is not covered up by this text box. So I've now selected the rectangle, and it's still over here on effects, which is good. We can come into the presets. I'm going to select the exact same one because you don't want to use a different angle for the drop shadows or it'll just look a little funny. I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to let go of that. Looks pretty good. Reselect it. And I want to show you another thing that you can do. We're going to go ahead and click on shape effects. And here's some other options you've got. All right, I want to show you bevel. So come down to bevel, I'm just hovering, and you can just hover over each of these buttons just to see what it would look like. Just continue to hover across. I kind of like that one. I'm going to go with this one. So this is called convex. All right, and now I'm going to click outside, take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, I like that. All right, so that's as much as I'm going to do there. And that's it. That's the end of the steps.